the national championship.
The Florida Gators have won the Southeastern Conference Championship. GatorZone is presented by Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of GatorZone alongside Megan Parler. Jeff Cardozo here with you. We are at the Bull Gator Deck of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, a sweet spot, of course, to watch a football game. And we were watching lots of football. First 3 weeks we're at home for the Florida football team. And a lot of fans made their way through the turnstiles, but a lot of fans, Megan, made their way into the sports shop.
Yeah, the first year that both the football and men's and women's basketball teams are the Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Got the Jumpman logo sporting now. So Shelby Granath got to go inside the football equipment room, talk to Jeff McGrew, and see all that gear.
Shelby Granath here in the South End Zone Equipment Room with Associate Director of Football Equipment, Jeff McGrew. Jeff, we see it all over, the Jumpman logo. New for Florida this year. Florida's just the 4th football program to work with Jordan and Jumpman, the first SEC school. What has this brand meant to this program?
It's a tremendous honor for us to be part of the Jordan program. Nike is an elite level, and then once you get within Nike, Jordan is the top of the top. And then to be notified and be a part of that, it's just huge. It's tremendous. That's how we like to think of our program, as an elite level program, and it just carries over to that. And we're hoping to just build on that going forward, and it's just tremendous to be a part of it.
So now, as we can see, a lot of new swag this year with that Jumpman logo, some new uniforms. What goes into all of this, and what are the new details?
All this kind of started well over a year in advance as far as putting it all together. Everything to like the tiniest little accessory, wristbands, everything has been rebranded with the Jordan logo, and we don't have anything with the Nike swoosh on it anymore. So a tremendous amount of ordering and detail to make sure you have every little thing covered, especially in this first year.
I mean, people don't think about that a lot. Nike is nowhere anymore. How much work really went into that leading up to the preseason and this season?
When that stuff starts coming in about July, August, we'll get 400 or 500 boxes at one time, and it's very time consuming and very tedious going through every single box, counting every size. It takes a while, and it's a huge process, but in the end, we kind of eventually get there.
So the players get all of this swag, the shirts, the jackets, shoes, but what is the one item that really gets these guys excited?
Well, our players, they go nuts over the shoes. That's the whole idea behind the Jordan brand. And just the more shoes that we'll get going forward, they're going to be customized Gators and everything. So just a lot of cool stuff like this. The guys, they love these types of things, so that's a huge hit.
So then I want to know, I think the fans want to know too, what is the process like before a home game?
We kind of start earlier in the week, and we'll go through each thing, and it kind of progresses as the week goes. We'll inspect every uniform, go through all the jerseys, see if there's any rips or tears or snags or anything like that. The helmets are gone through. We have about 4 or 5 guys that go through the helmets. They check every decal. They look at it, they clean them off, they replace the decals if they're scuffed up. Cleats, we go through, we clean the cleats off, we shine them up. So just like a bunch of little things like that that we go through as the week goes, and it builds up and builds up. And then once the game gets here, that's kind of like our easy day.
All right, fans, clearly I'm ready for the game. Now, if you want to get your hands on some Jumpman gear, check out one of the Gator sports shops or visit shop.floridagators.com. Jeff, thank you so much for your time, and go Gators.
Go Gators.
Well, thanks so much to both Shelby and Jeff. Well, thank you, Jeff, but Jeff McGrew for showing us all around football, seeing all the gear, and I can't wait to see both the men's and women's basketball jerseys soon and all the Jordan stuff throughout this athletic season.
I wish it was me, Jeff. Some sweet swag they got working there, but encourage you to go by the Gator Sports Shop and buy some of that yourself. And we want to jump gears now to soccer. Obviously, it's called football in other countries, but here, Lauren Evans, a soccer player, was diagnosed with leukemia at the end of last year, and guess what? She beat it. So certainly a really good story. Still involved with the soccer team and still doing many things to try to get back and work her way onto the field. So here is her story.
I just felt like I had a really bad stomachache, like nauseous and headaches, and then a few days later my throat started hurting and I was coughing a lot.
The thoughts were mono, strep throat, or dehydration. The actual prognosis was unimaginable. The Gators' 2017 season had just ended in the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament, and suddenly freshman Lauren Evans was receiving life-changing news.
we're in the emergency room at Shands, and her parents are there by now, and they said, well, it's definitely leukemia. And we're just like, what? Like, it was just out of the blue. So I actually said to Lo, I was like, how do we go from, Friday, we're playing in the Elite Eight, and then here it is Monday, and we are at Shands, and they're telling you have leukemia.
Still trying to process and wrap her head around everything, Lo lit up the room when she told Coach Burley she didn't know why all this was happening or how, but it was going to be one hell of a story. A motto the Gators got from the Patriots after New England came back to defeat Atlanta in the Super Bowl, and a motto Florida still uses this season.
Even before all this happened with Lo, our team was talking about that, and then when we went down to South Carolina and we were in the locker room at halftime, we were like, it's going to be a hell of a story when we come back. And unfortunately, it wasn't a hell of a story in terms of our comeback in that particular game, but I mean, it is a hell of a story when you think of how that translated into something that Lo and our team held on to during her recovery.
Throughout everything, Lo stayed incredibly positive and hopeful, even on the worst day.
January 20th, I got a really bad fever and I couldn't move my legs. And the doctors thought I probably wouldn't be able to move them again, and that was devastating. And then one day I was just sitting in my bed and my toes started moving, and they said once you see a little bit of movement, you know that it's all gonna come back. And then when I finished cancer, they sent me to a rehab, like another inpatient rehab place for 2 weeks, and it was rehab every day for about 5 hours, just working on strength coming back. And by the time I left there in 2 weeks, I was walking again.
Among the bad days, there were also those good days. April 24th, the day Lauren Evans was told she was cancer-free. Then on June 14th, Lo rang the bell.
You don't get chemo anymore.
Lo promised it would be one hell of a story, and she was right. But it's a story that is still being written. She may be cancer-free, but Lauren Evans is not done yet.
I feel like there's still a story to come. This part of the story is like the beginning where I beat it, but I just want it to be like at the end, I want to be like a starter and be able to tell my story when I'm finished playing soccer, like to the kids that are fighting it now, that they still have a chance and not to give up.
Just don't take things for granted, because you just never know. I mean, we were in the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, all caught up in winning or losing that game, and then 48 hours later, someone's struggling for their life. And it's just, again, not something you'd ever wish on someone, but what a gift it has turned out to be.
10 months ago, Lauren Evans was diagnosed with leukemia. And 8 months ago, Lauren Evans was told she may never walk again. But she continues to beat the odds, just like she beat cancer. And the team is hopeful she'll return to the pitch by the SEC soccer tournament. So this hell of a story will be continued. For GatorZone, I'm Shelby Granat.
Well, thank you so much again, Shelby, and so inspiring to hear Lauren Evans' story, everything that she's been through, beating it, and everything she's done for the soccer program and for everyone battling cancer.
And such a great inspiration in the community, too. They did a golf tournament over the summer for Stop Children's Cancer. She was really involved with that, so certainly taking that and making the most of it. All right, we got to get a break. We'll come back, and we've got Gareth Gutierrez going one-on-one with Mike White.
GatorZone is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. And by Gatorade. Win from within.
Welcome back to GatorZone. Gareth Gutierrez now joined alongside head coach Mike White of the basketball team, because, believe it or not, it's basketball season already. It never ends for you, but it's back for all of our fans and for the team. And fresh off a season last year where you finished third in the SEC and go into the NCAA tournament, what takeaways do you have from last season?
That we've got good players, that the SEC is dynamite and continuing to improve. We also continue to learn that the strength of schedule allows you opportunities for quality wins throughout the season. And it also allows for development throughout the season. And I thought that last year's group improved immensely, especially in those last 2 to 3 months of the season, especially defensively, where we ended up being our strength toward the end of the year. Kind of a unique year in that regard.
This year, you start off with Florida State, you got Battle for Atlantis, you got 3 big non-conference matchups. What do you say about this year's schedule, and what will it do for your team starting off with such a big, important schedule?
Well, hopefully it challenges our team and puts a healthy pressure on our guys and on our staff as well, that we've got to be prepared or we're going to be exposed in a hurry. It's probably equally as tough as the last few years of basketball schedules around here. It's kind of become the culture of scheduling with the Gators, and we embrace that. And it's the only way to look at it. We'll have as tough a schedule as anybody in college basketball this year in the non-conference, and it doesn't get any easier in the conference, as the SEC, in my opinion, will be the best league in the country again in college basketball this year.
What do you expect out of the seniors, and then what will fans see out of these new freshmen?
Yeah, our 3 freshmen are all, they're very capable. They're all going to have opportunities this year. To what extent, I don't know. That's up to our guys. You know, I tell our guys on a daily basis that jobs, minutes, starting roles, really even overall roles are up for grabs. And I want us to have a healthy competition on the court. I want our guys to make each other better every day. But Noah Lott can really shoot it. Keontae is very athletic. Andrew Nemhard can really pass it. You know, those are, I guess, first and foremost characteristics that jump out about those 3 kids. And then our seniors are a group that they've had a good run so far. You know, these guys have won some games, and they've grown throughout their process here. Kayvon Allen and Kavaris Hayes continues to grow as a leader. We'll look for him to lead that core of front court guys this year. Hopefully Kayvon can bounce back and have a really strong senior year. Jalen Hudson came back from the draft and has had a really strong offseason. Hopefully it carries over to November. He's worked on his motor and his leadership characteristics as well. And then we'll have a 4th-year junior in Keystone who probably likes to think he's a senior as well, who continues to evolve in his own right.
Very good. I appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to another great season here. Of course, sporting the Jumpman this year, so that'll be exciting. But thank you so much.
That guarantees more wins for us.
Oh, you heard it here. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll be back with more GatorZone right after this.
GatorZone is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. And by Gatorade. Win from within.
Hey everyone, and welcome back into GatorZone. Jeff and I made our way up to the 6th floor of the football stadium in the President's Suite. It is sweet, hanging out in here. And Coach Zielinski, in his 2nd year leading the cross-country team, was a pretty sweet runner back in the day. Doing my research, he wasn't bad, right, Jeff?
Not bad at all. 5-time NCAA champ. That means he's fast. He can do some damage, and I'm huffing and puffing after a 5K. That guy's running 20 miles like it's his job. Well, his job is to revitalize this cross-country program, and he's doing a mighty fine job.
With Coach Chris Zielinski coming into his 2nd season with the Gators, he attributes his successful running career to influencing his desire to make a career out of coaching.
My experience in college had the idea that I wanted to get into coaching. Originally went to school to be a high school teacher and high school coach, but kind of saw that you can make an actual career out of it. And Coach Holloway called, and I always tell people it's kind of like if Bill Belichick calls and says he wants you to improve his defense, you kind of take a serious thought and look at the situation.
There was an immediate mutual respect and understanding between Coach Holloway and Coach Zielinski, creating the opportunity for a top-notch environment to develop the cross-country student athletes.
The joys of developing an athlete and the excitement that you see when kind of all that hard work comes together, and you know, we both clicked pretty quickly. I think we share a very similar mindset and drive to become the best.
Yeah, so I want you guys checking your splits. Jimmy's worked hard to set up our cones.
Just how much he cares about all of us, not only as runners, but as people. He really does a great job of like reading us and connecting us, and like knows that it's not one size fits all.
2 mile, we're dropping into like 5:05 or 5:10. But ideally 5:45. That's what.
When Zielinski began his time in Gainesville, he had high hopes for the young and talented distance team. After getting settled in last season, he believes that this is the year to rebuild and bring change that will put them on the road to success.
You know, last year I was kind of in observation mode, so I was kind of just seeing how things were done. And, you know, we made the decision, most of the people that could redshirt in the fall, we did redshirt to just kind of adjust to the different training mindset, training philosophy. And You know, the first few weeks was just feeling out what the kids could handle, what they couldn't. And then, you know, I had the visions of where we wanted to be, and so taking the steps forward to take us from the point we were to the point where we can even just handle the workouts that are necessary to be in the team that we want to be.
Coach Zielinski came to the University of Florida to not only make improvements in training and work ethic, but also in the team's overall atmosphere and culture.
So our main mission is to become very, very tight-knit when it comes to culture. And you know, that's one thing that I think is a very important ingredient to a successful team. And last year we took a lot of great steps toward it. This year, you know, I'm kind of being hard on them in terms of getting even better, improving that 1%. And I think you improve that team culture, the accountability, pushing each other and holding each other accountable goes a long way in workouts and races.
This Gator team has definitely set their goals high, and with their new work ethic and mindset, no goal is out of reach for this group of athletes. For GatorZone, I'm Katie Leahy.
Thank you so much, Katie. And Coach Zielinski's job in just year 2 is getting that depth. And he really only has 2 cross-country athletes one on each side that have been here for a couple years and really have to kind of lead the experience part of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's up to Marshall Dillon and Jessica Pascoe. They're it. So they're now the ones that have to pass on what this Gator standard is all about and bringing this program back to dominance. Here's Natalie with more.
Florida's cross-country team has been through a few changes in the past couple of seasons in an effort to improve team culture. Marshall Dillon and Jessica Pascoe have had a consistent presence while experiencing how this program has changed since their freshman season.
Freshman year, I was just kind of trying to keep up with everybody and running scared pretty much, and I much prefer the system we have in place now under Coach Zielinski and stuff since last year, my sophomore year, and now this year as a junior. It's just a lot more positive vibe. The team dynamic as a whole just seems to be going so much better, and across all events too, like the sprinters, and everybody just seems to be getting along as a unit, and that makes it really fun, you know.
A lot different than it is right now. I think we've made a lot of improvements as a team. I was very competitive and more so individual, I guess, when I first got here. But it was the first team I was kind of involved in, so I was like, oh, this is great, just go along for the ride. But it was definitely a learning experience freshman year for me and sophomore year, and I feel like now I'm finally very settled in and know what I'm doing in.
When the Gators hired Chris Zielinski as the new distance coach, a decision was made to redshirt the majority of the veteran cross-country runners. Dillon and Pascoe were some of the few who did not. Zielinski did not keep his team in the dark. He was honest with them on his reasoning and expected them to trust his coaching method. We realized what that meant. That meant that, well, we're probably going to have not a down year, but just a year when we weren't obviously at our potential. But we were more than happy to do that because, like Coach Zielinski, we recognized the vision that he had for longevity and making the program a success over a long period of time.
Had to step up, but we were like, hey, we can still give this a good crack. This isn't just oh, whatever. Still give it everything you have, and I think everybody kept really positive despite all the injuries and everything that could have gone wrong last year.
It's just leaps and bounds to be made in terms of how well we did last year compared to now. I mean, we've been doing workouts and stuff lately that completely blow out of the water what we would have been able to do last year from an aerobic standpoint and from a speed standpoint. So the team has definitely, I think, moved forward as a unit, and that has to be credited to the job Zielinski's done and also all of us buying into the system.
They're creating along with them other really strong leaders, and so it's nice as a coach to see not just one person per gender or 2 people per gender, but 5, 6, 7 people that are taking responsibility and taking ownership of the trajectory that the team is on.
With their experience and leadership, Dillon and Pascoe have had more confidence in themselves and their team this season than in years before.
Marshall and Jess have done a really good job of both being vocal leaders and being leaders by example. They both have had success but had their struggles, and so they've kind of gone through the ups and downs that they can help the freshmen, the newcomers, or even other people that maybe have only experienced success and now having a downtime or have never experienced success, that there's always going to be the ebbs and flows, and there's always going to be things that can help pull you out of it.
Marshall's like played a big role in bringing the whole team together. Like in the past, it was kind of like track separate and distance separate, but right now everybody's been like together.
Jess Pasco's a really, really great gal. She's a really good friend of mine. We're in the same class, so we came in at the same time. It kind of like went through the whole like struggle of like learning the ropes together. Yeah, it's just been really cool to see like kind of her journey, and I think she's in for something really big this season. She's in really good shape in workouts. She's been looking fantastic, and she's a really good person too.
The team has high hopes for this season, believing that their new philosophy and competitive training over the past year will lead to a successful 2018 season. For GatorZone, I'm Natalie Morrison.
All right, Natalie, thank you. Good stuff. And of course, best of luck to those cross-country teams.
And the cross-country teams are building up to a great season, and we've built up to our last break. Jeff's favorite part, top place.
Yeah, we'll try not to mess up some of the sweet artifacts here in the President's Box.
Hey everyone, and welcome back during the break. Jeff was a little out of control of the football, and your parents always tell you not to play by breakables. And there's Jeff now trying to put stuff back together. Here's your week's top plays.
Today's top plays are brought to you by Nike.
Fitzgerald to the air, in trouble, and spun down for a sack inside the 20-yard line. Zuniga was there first for the Gators. So it's a gain of 15 yards. They're at the 20-yard line. This is going to be a double pass. Tony to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Morrill Stevens is there to pull it in. This could be the game right here for Mississippi State. Here comes the blitz. Fitzgerald gets walloped and sacked. Donovan Steiner with the hit. And the Bulldogs turn it over on downs. Florida's about to win this one.
So there you have it, some top plays, and I think I get a top play for fixing that thing. Just do not tell Dr. Fox that we were in here. Nobody will know the difference unless, of course, they watch, like we hope you're watching every week, because we're going to bring you a whole lot of Gator goodies throughout the year. And if you don't watch, you can still follow, can't you?
Yep, on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, all your favorites.
Yeah, can't beat it. So that'll do it for this episode of GatorZone. She's my partner,
Megan Parler.
The wonderful camera work of Gareth Gutierrez. I'm Jeff Cardozo. We'll see y'all next time.